points, finishing 7th, a freshman in the jav. The top 7 finishers in the men's javelin are from 7 different schools. And Vermont, who picked up 3rd and 8th, are the only team to pick up multiple points. That helps Albany because no one's picking up chunks of points. But in terms of what we would expect from NJIT, the team score is not going to be particularly high. But think about the mindset of a recruit. They're not that focused right now, although it certainly helps when you have a team like Albany that wins all the time. They're not that focused on what the team score is. They want to see what guys in the events that they do are able to develop. So you look at a guy like Jacob Lay from NJIT, who's the number 5 qualifier coming in, and one of the favorites to qualify out of his heat in the 100. It's an opportunity for NJIT to get out there, to show some good performances, get some of their athletes maybe pick up some PBs if the wind can help itself, and show that this is a program that young athletes are going to want to be a part of.
We got wall-to-wall coverage of the track and field championships here on Americas TV. You see the hashtag AETF as we get set for the men's 1500. What are you looking for, Dan, in the first race of the day?
I'm looking for Robert Becker of Stony Brook to absolutely cruise through this first team. He's seated at 3:44.28. He's a top overall qualifier. He was second in the indoor mile back in 2019 in a very tactical race, so kind of throw that 4:11 mile out the window. I mean, 4th in this event in 2019. He's looking for some redemption, and it's a heat where no one else is qualified quicker than 3:52. He's going to try to get through this event. Top 3 per heat automatic qualifiers, 3 on time. So for a guy like Becker, going to sit on the leader's shoulder. Probably he'll take running a couple extra meters to stay out of trouble, don't get his legs tripped up, and just try to qualify automatically without expending too much energy.
About ready for this first. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Should be a fun battle, though, for those 2nd and 3rd automatic qualifiers. And, of course, it's always interesting in this first heat, when there are time qualifying spots out there, these guys don't know what they need to do to qualify. So will one of the guys who are floating around 3:54, someone like maybe maybe like Brandon Garcia, the freshman from Albany, do they take it out quick to make sure that their heat is fast and set a standard? Time will tell.
As he mentioned, Becker is in that 6th lane, and we get started with what's going to be an awesome weekend. This event, it kind of seems like a different school wins this event every year in the men's side. Binghamton has won 3 of the last 6. That's the only consistency. Previous champion was Dan Schaefer. We're underway in this very first heat of the very first race, and what should be a great weekend. The men's 1500 begins here in Lowell.
Like got out hard and looked like they were going to try to make this honest, but right now just loping along. It's certainly not going to be a jog fest, but this is not going to be the hot heat we were maybe expecting, and probably understanding that with the wind, taking it out hard, especially doing it from the front, is going to make your job awfully difficult. So shaping up to be a tactical affair.
We heard that a little bit from Heath earlier, but how will the wind in these early parts of the day where it's pretty strong affect the day?
Well, in an event like this, you want to be riding on somebody's coattails, but at the same time, you want to make sure you don't get boxed in. So you need somebody to block the wind as much as possible. And no one wants to lead, especially in a qualifier. No one wants to be out front, and they're just blocking the wind for everyone else, taking the brunt of it. So if you're going to take the lead, it's an old adage in track, never take the lead until you're prepared to keep it for the distance. You got to believe that with the athletes who are out there to take the lead, they're trying to lead this wire to wire.
Right now, it's Vermont's Colin Mayer at the front. Came in with a 4:08 seed time.
And he's a guy that's probably going to need one of those automatic qualifiers in order to get through. If he can make the race hard, maybe take some of the sting, take some of the kick out of the guys who want to just sit back and then kick down the home stretch. It's probably the right tactical move for him, especially given, you want to get out there, and if you don't qualify for the final, want to make sure you've done everything you can, not leave anything out there.
Vermont head coach Matt Belfield talked to him this week, and he said he's put a lot of this season on his captains. His captains have ridden everything through COVID changes and the like, and right now that's Steve O'Driscoll in the front, still a catamount.
And look at Becker's position. He's right on his shoulder. This is a walk in the park for him. Just staying out of trouble, making sure his legs don't get tangled up, but hanging right there, letting O'Driscoll take the pace. Because there's no championship to win for him today. He just needs to make sure he finishes in the top 3. This is exactly what you need to do as a runner like Becker at this stage.
You got the catamount O'Driscoll, Becker there, and then Brandon Garcia, the freshman from Albany that Dan mentioned earlier. Those are your front 3 right now. Again, first heat of the prelims for the men's 1500.
Really positive race there for Garcia. This is someone who thinks he can make the final, especially wide open. Liam Kimball, the senior from UMass Lowell's right in there. He's the number 9 qualifier in America East coming in. And then you have the Binghamton Bearcats, Matt Matt Cavaliere, which is a really interesting choice for him to run the 15 because he's got the third fastest 800 in the conference, but going with the metric mile.
Coming up on the 3-minute point of this race. And as you mentioned, Albany's going to start to control things. Brandon Garcia jumps out in front. Is there a point in this race where you'd like to lead, ever?
Whenever you're prepared to keep it. So a guy who's going to be a sit-and kicker who maybe has a bit more of a strength background, a 5K guy coming back, you probably want to launch your move around here, if not earlier. For someone that's got excellent 800 speed like Cavaliere, wait. He can outsprint all of them down the home stretch. But right here, someone like Becker, pure miler. I mean, the guy's a 402 miler. He has split 359, but that was a 4x1600. So not only do you have a flying start off the relay, it's also 9 meters short. He's fine. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Coming up to 200 to go, just loping his way into the front. He'll coast from here. And ideally for him, he'll be able to shut it down the home stretch and not have to kick it into that extra gear.
Here is Becker rounding the final turn. Driver's seat start to finish. And he'll leg this one out. Binghamton's Cavaliere right behind him. Third Bearcat in the mix as well. And that's Cian Galligan.
All right, so Binghamton puts 2 into the final, and with the winning time right around 4 flat, again, the win's a factor, but not going to blow anybody away with those qualifiers. So those time qualifying spots are very much up for grabs for the next couple of heats. For Robert Becker and the 2 Bearcats, job done, move on to the final.